Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video I'm going to explain how to model shear wall in Etabs. Now for the project that we have it here, the example that we're following, we don't have shear wall in the building, but we're just going to define something to understand how we have to deal with shear wall in Etabs. First thing, you have to define a section which goes under wall section. Now let's say we have a wall here. You can add or modify, which we explained before. Let's say similar thing that we did for slab, the name of it, material, and the modeling type. Now, the way that you're dealing with this one, whether shell thin, shell thick, membrane, depends on the way that you're going to design shear wall. Now, as a structural engineer, you are forcing the elements to follow what you're going to design for. Now let's say that mainly shear wall will be used for the lateral load. You don't want the out plane forces to make bending for the shear wall. So you aiming the shear wall only to transfer the lateral load and the building weight, and you will design according to that one. You can choose these things here the way that you want. Now if you want only to transfer the load, but you want it, for example, to be designed for shear and moment, or only designed for shear, you will decide the type of the membrane or the modeling that you want. That's totally depend on the design that you're going to do, or how you want the shear wall to behave in the building. I'll leave these things for now. Let's say we want it to be for design, for moment and shear. Let's say we'll keep this one inside here, shell thick. So we have the thickness, material, and then we press OK. You have the section before. Now, in order to model shear wall, those two are the one that we need them. So basically, if you go over them, you say draw walls in plan, and this is quick draw wall. By now you realize that everything that we do in Etabs, there is quick draw and there is normal draw. There is another, however, there is another way, draw wall stack. It's kind of already shear wall plans. So here we can use this one. We can use this one that we can draw quick, and there is a third option, which draw wall stack. Now if you click on this one here, you'll see there are several prepared shear walls that you can use them for the plan. Now those can be, for example, this is an indication of elevator, or maybe two elevator you have it beside each other. So instead of for yourself to go and draw this one, you can use the stack one, which are ready. For example, here it's shown those are, you have the thicker instead of the columns at the edge, that you can use them. I recommend to go through here. Maybe you will find one that is similar to the one that you have it in the plan, that you don't need to draw it by yourself. The information clearly written here, which you know which one will be what. For example, Lx equal to 3.6 meter, you'll find word Lx here. So changing this one, this is going to change this part here. For example, 5 meter. As soon as you click somewhere else, automatically updates the shape. So you'll be able to play with all of the information here and bring it to the style that you have it on the plan. This is if you can find the one that you have it within here, which I recommend to go through here first, the stack wall. So let's say you have this one, you decide everything, for example, you provide everything. What will happen? You press OK. Now it will give you an option basically to place it somewhere. For example, over these corners, or if it's here, according to the location, let's say it will be here, it snaps to the grid. It snaps to the grid and you place it here. Let's say, then you can move these things if you want to. You can move them if you want to, or let's say you provide a reference point for clicking or placing the location of the shear wall. This is if you're going to use from the list here. You'll select and you place in its location. Well, it has a lot of shapes, but still you have two more options that you can use to draw for yourself. So draw wall, similar, you click on that one. Now there is, here you have two type, pure and spandrel, we have it here. Now pure and spandrel in shear wall stands for something like this. Now if you have a shear wall kind of into, if I decide, for example, this is the first story, this is the second story, and normally we have gap or we have wall within the shear wall. Let's say there is a wall here, and the same wall we have it at the bottom. Now in a design, this area between this small area here between the openings here, so let's change different color. This area, let's say this area, goes by spandrel. So this area here is spandrel. The other area will be pier. This is, so the other one here, this one will be pier. Now you don't need to think about this one in the beginning. You can draw it as pier all when you add the opening to the shear wall. If you're going to add the opening to shear wall, you're going to label these parts as a spandrel. So this is the spandrel part, we have it here, and those will be the piers. The four sides will be the piers. We'll draw them at the pier. If you want to add opening, we'll come back to it. Then we can add the labels. We'll see the labels later. So in the beginning, we'll keep this one as pure. We'll select the wall that we have it. It's basically, you can auto pier here by itself. You can manage this one to be on and off. You can leave it like this, auto pier, to be on or off. We can decide later by ourselves. So this is pier. I'm choosing the, let's say, the wall that I have it here. I'll keep this one to be no. It's yes and no, we have it, so it's basically automatically will decide if you add the opening there. It can be used, or we can decide by ourselves. So in a draw tool, you have option, you have power over the location. Let's say you're going to provide at this point here, you place it at some point over the grids, for example up to this point here. Then you continue, let's say you're coming down with, say, 1 meter or 1.8 meter. Then if it's a continuous one, then you will add the wall. But most of the time, let's say you have something like this, then you can press escape. Sorry, I could do right click as well. If I want to continue, then let's see. So this is 0.65 or 0.60. I'll make this 1.60. That's 59. Now let's say the other side. Now remember, if you're going to use this one here, I don't have the location for it, so that's why I'm trying to just click somewhere. But normally you have the location, you go over the grid line. Let's say I can even draw like this. Now if this is the opening here, now just keep it like this. By itself, all of this one will be pier because the opening it's continuous from the bottom till top. You don't have the way that I drew it for you. So spandrel basically it's between two opening in the shear wall. But if you have a full opening here, then in that case you don't need to worry about this spandrel or pier. Just give it this pier here. If it's just one, you only have pier there. But if you have full, let's say full means that you continue this one. So I'm trying to draw. So you have a continuous like this. Again, this is some. We have this side because of the horizontal one. If it's a continuous case like this, now how are people going to use this one? Is this area here? You're going to add. If I go to 3D, now this is the shear wall, but it's closed one. If I'm going to add an opening here, an opening in this area, then the top as well, there will be opening. So between the opening will be considered as spandrel. But if you have an open like this, so no need to be worried about the spandrel because all of this will be considered as pier directly. This is if you're going to draw. But remember, when you're using draw tools, you need the reference point. You cannot just, the way I did it here was just for explanation. You cannot go like this to click without knowing where is the exact location. Normally you have the beams around it, or you have the grid line at least. You have the grid lines, you'll go over the grid lines and you place it there. Normally the location of shear wall, you don't have beam. And let's say it will be between these grid lines here, between these grid lines. So in that case, you follow the grid line. Let's say I'm following the grid lines here. But here I have beams everywhere. So normally when you drawing shear wall, you don't have beam over shear wall. Let's say I'm placing it like this. Or you can place one at each corners. Some people doing it a different way. This will be the shear wall that we have it. Drawing it is very easy. Well, the quick draw wall, how does it work? Similar way, but this time only goes for the grid line. So you're trying to provide it between two grid line. You just simply click in the grid here, and the grid here. That's it. We know quick toolbar, how does it work? Mainly working with the grid. So in between grids, over the grids. That's how the quick toolbar works. Any quick that we have it here normally follows the grid line. So if you don't have grid line, you'll not be able to use the quick one. So this is how to draw a shear wall if we have it in the building. So whether from the draw, from here, or from the stack, if you can find something similar to the one that you have it within the list. I believe this is enough for the shear wall here. We'll come back to it in case of analysis design to explain how to deal with the shear wall as well. Thanks for watching.